Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm Kayla, I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about consistency without burnout and how to do it all, but not all at the same time and why that's important. Before I get started, I just want to let you know, I have a little bit of like a lingering cold that I'm getting over. And so I hope that my voice sounds okay for the episode, but if it sounds a little off, that's why. All right, so a few housekeeping items at the top of the episode. Number one, the Get Organized at Work podcast merch is available and all of it has come. Even the steel tumbler that I was waiting for, I used it all week. I took it on a road trip with my family this weekend and I love it. It kept my drinks warm and, hot the whole trip. It's so cute. I got a lot of compliments on it. And the lid is like a soft close, so it actually closes. It has like a rubber stopper. Anyways, I love it. Everything is listed and linked in the description or in the podcast show notes. There's the podcast mug. There are hardcover and softcover, soft to touch, lined notebooks, college ruled or dotted. You can get a bigger size in both the soft cover that's either lined or dotted, and then you can get the smaller size in hardcover, lined or dotted, or a soft cover. They're so beautiful. There's a podcast blue and a podcast pink. It's kind of like a coral salmon-y color. So check out the pictures and the links. There is also a tearaway notepad that's super cute. It's like a checklist notepad. It's 50 sheets, and it's just a spot to kind of do your morning brain dump and figure out what your top 3 priorities are. So yeah, and right now, pre-order for these items is open through 11:59 p.m. next Monday, September 15th. Once all your orders are placed, I'll order a bulk shipment of everything and then get it shipped individually out to your homes or your address that you provide. So check it out. They're so cute, so beautiful, and definitely worth supporting the show. If you're like, oh man, I've never purchased a course from Kayla, or I'm not in her group or any of that, what I would love for you to do is you can hop into my free community, and inside there, members get 20% off the merch with a merch discount code, and that's only available in my group. So if you're like, I want to support the podcast, I might check out the merch, but you want 20% off, come into my free community, go in the merch tab, and you can get the code and get your swag. All right. There are 2 more amazing opportunities or ways to support the podcast if you're feeling so inclined. The next one is free. It's leave a rating or review. When I go on Apple Podcasts, there are not many ratings or reviews yet. And that's okay. I switched podcast hosts in the beginning of the year, and so I lost my reviews. So if you could go leave a 5-star review, leave a nice comment letting me know how this podcast has helped you, I would love it. It helps the podcast to reach more people, and it gives the podcast cred. So people are like, oh yeah, this is legitimate. I'll listen to it. The third way that you can support me that is monetary is in the description below or in the show notes. I did add my virtual buy me a coffee. It's a metaphorical coffee. Basically, you can think of it as my tip jar. So I know there are folks who just listen for free. They get all this value. Maybe they want a way to support. You can check out my tip jar. Okay, let's get into the content now. All right, so I outlined this whole podcast episode, excited to talk to you about, how to be consistent. It's part of our consistency series episodes. I've done 3 so far. This is the 4th one, and thinking about consistency without burnout. But I feel like I want to go a little bit off script. So if you will be so inclined to allow me, I'm just going to go where my heart is telling me to go for where I'm at, where I think you might be at right now. So I mapped this episode around the fact that consistency doesn't have to mean grinding harder. It can mean creating more ease. And so what I've been thinking about is, how do I want my fall season to feel? And I've said this before in the podcast. I love to plan around seasons. I think seasonal living, it makes the year go by I don't know, more enjoyably because you're intentionally savoring the moments of each season that you love and just getting the most out of those things and then preparing for the realities of each season. Like, winter in Minnesota is very different than preparing for what summer is going to be like. And that's okay. That's just the reality. So for fall, it's this interesting, I don't know, dichotomy for me where it's when I do feel most energized, I feel most like me. It's a fresh start. It's like the beginning of an academic year. It just smells like academia is in the air. It's just my favorite time. So energetically, it's this wonderful time where I'm like, let's roll. At the same time, fall as the days get shorter and as it gets cooler out, it kind of like pulls you towards this slowing down because summer can be so busy with we've got to be at the cabin, we're going to be home, we're going to be at the lake, like all these things you want to do with your kids because you only get, so many summers with your kids, or just like it's the time to be out and about before we have to sort of like hunker down. So the fall time sort of starts that feeling of like I want to be anchored. And I was sort of leaning into this the other day as I'm journaling in the morning, and I just sort of brain dumped some words that had been coming to me. And then as I was writing them down, more came. So I wrote down the word simple, present. And then I was like, but even more than present, I want to be connected. Even more than connected, I want to feel grounded. And then I wrote cozy, primed. Like I do want to feel ready for whatever opportunities. I want to be open. I wrote open. I wrote energized and rested, light and paced, patient, confident, ease. I want to feel bright. I want to feel intentional. And so when I think about our consistency systems at work, it's all about doing what you can when you can, but not making it this box that you have to fit in. It is not pushing harder. It is not creating this hustle culture or a structure that you cannot sustain. It is all about finding rhythm, energetically, a rhythm that makes sense to you in that moment, whatever it is. And that rhythm can be flexible, but consistency helps you predict. And when things are predictable, your brain relaxes. And I think that's sometimes what I crave from the fall because it's like summer is so unpredictable with everyone's varying schedules. We're out of the school routine. And then we step into fall, and fall's like, yeah, every day for the most part, we do the same things, but we add in these extra elements of surprise or lightness, like apple picking or pumpkins or costumes for Halloween or special drinks or special food. And we just like make special time out of this cool season. But it's also super structured in a way that makes my brain relax. So when we're thinking about it in terms of work, consistency, if it helps your brain relax, it's all about reducing your stress and not adding to it. So I just wanted to share that. Like, that's where my heart's been at, because sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not as organized as you. I don't have like 80 Kanban boards, and I don't have this project roadmap, and I don't have like a beautiful OneNote. And to me, what I always say back to that is like, whatever works for you. You don't have to have as extensive systems as I have. It's whatever makes things less stressful to you. Your system shouldn't add to your stress. So I don't want you to stress out if you don't have 50 Kanban boards or if your Kanban board is, waiting to be done, doing and done. It's okay if it's only 3 cards. It doesn't have to be a 10 card system. So one of the mindsets that I want you to have as we're thinking about consistency is burnout happens when consistency equals I must do it all of the time. And you've heard me say this before, and others have said it to me, is you can do it all, just not all at one time. And so just remembering that in leadership, in your career, there are times when you got to sprint. Like if there's a goal or something you want to go to, like energetically, you have to move toward it for you to receive that thing. Like I believe that energetically, if there's something you want, you can't just sit and wait for it. That thing will come to you if you start making progress towards that thing. But that doesn't mean that you can sprint all the time. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to have that lactic acid build up in your muscles, metaphorically, but just like a real sprint, you need rest in between. So sometimes when we want to do it all, the best thing we can do is pause, take a break, and remember it's more of a marathon, not a sprint, and commit to maybe aim for one thing that you're going to do energetically well this week. That's going to ground you. Do tiny experiments at work that allows you to have fun at work with your work. Experiment with what feels good. Don't try to do it all at the same time. So there are a couple things that I want to, like some ideas I want to give you for creating consistency, which creates ease and helps your brain relax. So you're not always thinking, oh my gosh, what am I forgetting? What do I need to do? And so I'm going to give you a couple buckets that you can sort of try to get a little bit systemized right now to create a little bit of that relaxed brain to focus on some of the more higher level thinking that you need to do. All right. So as we go to create ease and consistency, I want to talk about 3 areas that I think you can start to systemize or think about as you lean into the season of maybe wanting to be grounded, connected, and present that can help you just help your brain relax so you can think about those other more detailed or higher level functions that you need to be focusing on in your role. And the 3 areas are automation, templates, and delegation. So each of these tools or areas removes mental load while keeping your consistency intact. So let's talk through them. Okay, so we talk about automation, right? All the time. We talk about calendar reminders and helping ourselves schedule recurring meetings and using Teams focus time to schedule time blocks. I'm going to give you one example in the area of people engagement because it's a softer thing. We don't always talk about like people engagement as a way to measure success as a professional. But if you're a leader or a team member, one of the things that is always so nice is when people remember our work anniversaries or our birthdays or other anniversaries that are important to us. So one really simple thing you can do to boost engagement or tell your team or show your team that you care is to pull a report. Maybe use the automatic one that comes from HR so you don't have to pull it together, and actually insert people's birthdays or their start days or anniversaries into your calendar. So that way, when that day comes up, it's like, oh, it's Kayla's work anniversary. And you can remember to send a quick Teams message, email, or like recognition note to say, hey, happy work anniversary. So grateful for you. It's a system and an automation that can really help you throughout the year, build better rapport and trust with your people, but it's super simple. Not everybody does this. Not everyone gets a note on their work anniversary saying, hey, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Happy 15 years, whatever it is. It's just not super common. And if you do it, you're going to stand out. So think about with that example or other examples, what can you automate now that's going to set you up for ease in the next season and in the next year? All right, 2, I talked about templates as being the next area to help you create ease. So templates, people are like, oh man, I have to make a template for this. This is going to be so rough. And you see all those ads out there for different like screen sharing services, whatever. This is the most basic way to make a template that can help you share your work with others or delegate in the future or be quicker in the future. So for your meeting notes, one of the things you can have is create your typical agenda and then just copy paste it over and over into your OneNote. That way you don't ever have to make a brand new agenda. It's all formatted. It's the way you want it. You don't have to start from scratch. Use the same one. And then it's like 15 minutes of setup initially, and then it's literally seconds to help you later. The other thing you can do to make templates would be anytime you do a task that you are thinking about training someone else on or delegating, is to, while you're doing the thing yourself, just start your own meeting with yourself, like a Teams meeting, and just record the meeting while you have your screen shared. You're just literally navigating through the steps. You can narrate what you're doing and show what you're doing on the screen. And then that video exists and you can share it with multiple people over and over, and done, voila, it's good to go. You can even create a template for someone like that's just like a checklist. So as you're going through the motions of something, just write down the steps you're doing And that way it's written down and it's good enough. They can try to replicate the thing you're asking them to do and then give you feedback like, oh, you missed this step or this part wasn't obvious to me, and have the person help you update or up level your templates. It sounds like it could be a lot of work, but it saves you time in the long run. Same thing with project roadmaps or planner templates. Just once you create it one time, just reuse it over and over. And that way you're not spending time recreating the wheel. If you're looking for one-on-one meeting templates, project roadmap templates, project list templates, communication templates, I have all of those in my free resource library, which is also inside of my free community and community app, which is linked in the description, which is also where you can get the 20% off on the merch. So if you're not in there, check it out. Go to my free resource library inside the app, and you can grab all those templates for yourself that are ready for you to fill in. The other cool thing with my community membership is each week I send out a Friday flow email and I highlight one of our templates so you can learn more about it and download it right to your email so that it just makes it easy to understand, oh, these are the templates that Kayla has. Maybe you haven't looked around, and raises awareness of those so that you know what's living in the free resource library. So this last week, I actually shared the value and impact to promotion template. And the week before, I shared the, basically how to go out of office and plan ahead for that template. So those are in the free resource library in the app. All right, the last area is delegation, shifting tasks that don't need your energy to someone else, maybe an admin, a team lead, maybe automating with software. For example, maybe a supervisor is assigning inventory checks to a lead, or a lead is assigning inventory checks to a frontline team member who is looking for a stretch goal. It's freeing yourself up to focus on metrics and people engagement or other things that only you can do and someone else can do the thing that you're delegating. See, now if you have a template for your work, it's easier to delegate because you have it outlined, a checklist, and that's one reason you should use templates. The other thing that delegation is great for is for career advancement and just showing that you're ready for the next step in that career progression. Oftentimes I hear feedback from people, or I've given feedback like, yep, your work is still super tactical. I'd really like to see you elevate yourself more in a leadership position. How can you teach others to do this work or direct or lead others to do that work? And so practicing delegation is going to help you if you're looking to take the next step in your leadership career. So as a reminder for this episode, I want you to think about, how do you want this season to feel? Do you want to lean into it grounded, connected, cozy, yet energized and rested? What do you want it to feel like? And think about how you can use some of these soft systems to create ease and consistency. You're not boxing yourself in. You're not, doing it all the time, but you are creating consistency that's sustainable without burnout. So if you're ready to set up automations, templates, and help yourself start delegating, I would love to work with you. You can fill out my form that is linked in the description or in the show notes. And I would love to hear more about how I can help you organize your work. And it's a organize my work call with me. We hop on a call for 30 minutes and we talk about how we can design a rhythm that works for you together, whether it's through one of my packages for consulting or through my course, or if I can just give you some tips to send you on your way to the next step. Thank you so much for letting me just sort of riff on how I was feeling in this moment and sort of expand on this topic of consistency. We have, I think it's 2 more episodes in this consistency series. So again, if you haven't listened to the others, go back and binge those. And then as always, I would love it if you left me a rating or review so I can read your review on the podcast next time. And like I said, merch is available for pre-order till September 15th. Hop into our free community to get that 20% off discount. Or if you just want to support me and say, hey, Kayla, thanks, I appreciate it, you can leave me a tip in my virtual Leave Me a Coffee link that's also in the description. All right, thank you so much for being here with me for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.